Want to speak real Polish from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at polishpod101.com.
Hello everyone, welcome to Top Polish Words. And today we will be doing top 25 Polish phrases. My name is Marzena. Let's start. So the first phrase is cześć. Cześć means hello in Polish. So when you meet your friend, you can say cześć, which would be like saying hello. But then again, you can use cześć to say bye as well. For example, when you meet your friend, you can say cześć, and then when you have to go back home, you can say cześć again. So this one is pretty useful. So our next phrase is dzień dobry. Dzień dobry means good morning in English, but actually what it literally means is dzień, which is a day, and dobry, which is good. So actually what you are saying, it's good day. That's why we can use it through the whole day, not only in the morning. You can say it in the evening as well, or in the afternoon. You can say it to your friends or to your family and to a person you don't know as well. So feel free to use it anytime you want. And our next phrase is dobry wieczór. Dobry wieczór means good evening, literally means good evening. For example, through the whole day you would say dzień dobry, but at the end of the day you would say dobry wieczór. Now, actually, a lot of people, it's very difficult to know when can you start saying that, when can you start saying dobry wieczór instead of dzień dobry. So a lot of people I know starts with like dzień dobry, they want to say dzień dobry, but they notice it's already evening and they say like dzień dobry wieczór, which is the funny way of saying that. You can try it if you want. Dobranoc. Dobranoc means good night. So you would usually use it before going to bed, when you want to say bye to your family or to your friends and just you are sleepy, you will just say dobranoc. Dobranoc, it's one word, but it actually came from two different words. So like dobra, which means good, and noc, night. So it literally means good night, but it's one word right now. The next phrase is jak się nazywasz? Jak się nazywasz? Which means, what is your name? If you meet a new person, you can use it, but remember that this phrase will be better to use with people of the same age or people younger, because it literally means, what is your name, not what is your name, sir, or what is your name, ma'am. That's why it's not too good to use for like older people. It's better to use it for your friends, for people the same age, or for younger people, for children as well. So once again, jak się nazywasz? And the next one is nazywam się. So obviously if you ask jak się nazywasz, what is your name, you have to answer that, and that's nazywam się, which means my name is. For example, nazywam się Marzena. So the next phrase is miło mi ciebie poznać. Miło mi ciebie poznać, which means it's nice to meet you. So obviously when you meet a new person, you ask jak się nazywasz, and you answer nazywam się, like nazywam się Marzena, and then at the end you usually say like it's nice to meet you, and that would be miło mi ciebie poznać. So the next phrase is jak się masz? Jak się masz? Which means how are you? Now, the funny thing is that we don't really ask that a lot in Poland. I mean, we do, but not as often as you do it in English. So when you ask somebody jak się masz, how are you? Be careful, because this person can actually give you the real answer. The next phrase for today is dobrze, dziękuję. A ty? I'm fine, thanks. And you? Dobrze, dziękuję. A ty? I'm fine, thanks. And you? As I told you before, this may not be the answer that you will get. Some people will say so, but some people will just start talking about their problems, about their life, and instead of just getting I'm fine, thank you, and you will get the whole life story of this person and all the problems and everything related. Be careful when you ask this one. It's usually good to ask your friends, people you are closer to, with whom you really want to talk a lot, and then you will get an answer, longer answer. But of course, if you are asked and you don't want to talk about your life, you can just say dobrze, dziękuję, a ty? Proszę. Please. Proszę. Proszę means please in English, and you can use it, for example, when you give somebody something. So like, proszę. Or when you ask somebody to do something, like, proszę, proszę, zrób to dla mnie. Please, please, please do it for me. So going to the next phrase, dziękuję. Dziękuję means thank you in Polish. Well, you can use it to basically anybody you want. When somebody passes you something, you can say, and saying proszę, you can say dziękuję. When somebody invites you inside, saying proszę, proszę, you can say dziękuję as well. When somebody offers you tea or coffee, you can say dziękuję. If you don't want it though, you can say nie dziękuję, which means no, thank you. Nie ma za co. Nie ma za co means you are welcome, but what it actually literally means is there is nothing to be thankful for. So we usually say dziękuję, and the other person would say nie ma za co. Next phrase we have here is tak. Tak means just yes. Whenever you want to say yes, and it's basically the same as in English. So, for example, when you want to use tak, if somebody asks you, do you want a tea or do you want something to drink? And you can say tak. Or you can say, actually adding please, tak, proszę. And when this person passes it to you, you can add dziękuję. The next phrase is nie. Nie means no. For example, if somebody offers you something to drink, if you want it, you can say yes, please, which would be tak, proszę, or tak, poproszę. But if you don't want it, you can say nie, or you can say nie, dziękuję, adding thanks to that. So, do you want something to drink? Nie, dziękuję. And next phrase is dobrze. Dobrze means okay. So, for example, when your friends asks you to go somewhere, or like, do you want to go grab something to eat together? And you can say tak, or you can say dobrze, let's go. Yeah, sure, okay, let's go. Or if they ask you if you want to go together for a trip, you can say, yeah, sure, dobrze. Yeah, I want to go. The next phrase is przepraszam. Przepraszam has many different meanings. So it can mean excuse me, but it also can mean I'm sorry. So you would see a lot of Polish people mixing excuse me and I'm sorry in English, because it's actually one word in Polish. So for example, when you stepped on somebody's leg, you can say przepraszam. When you did something wrong, you can say przepraszam. When you want to pass through like crowd of people, you can say przepraszam, przepraszam, and find your way out. If you did something wrong, you can say przepraszam as well. So it's actually a pretty useful one. So it means excuse me, but it means I'm sorry in the same time. Przepraszam. Przepraszam means I'm sorry. Actually, the next phrase is która jest godzina? Która jest godzina means what time is it? If you want to ask somebody, excuse me, what time is it now? You can say przepraszam, która jest godzina? So let's go to the next one. Another very useful phrase. Gdzie jest toaleta? Gdzie jest toaleta? Which means where's the toilet? So gdzie means actually where. Jest means be or to be, and toaleta is toilet. So gdzie jest toaleta means where is the toilet. So if you are in a shopping mall or in a restaurant and you want to ask, excuse me, where is the toilet, you will say, przepraszam, gdzie jest toaleta? The next phrase is poczekaj chwilkę. Poczekaj means to wait, and chwilkę means a moment, and together it means wait a moment, please. When you see your friend going somewhere, but you still want to talk to him or her, and you can just, call them and then say, poczekaj chwilkę. Ile to kosztuje? Ile to kosztuje means how much is this? When you go to a shop, you will say przepraszam, ile to kosztuje? So excuse me, how much is this? Przepraszam, ile to kosztuje? Czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Can I get the check, please? So imagine you are sitting in a very nice Polish restaurant eating pierogi or any other wonderful Polish dish, and you've just finished and you just want to get your bill. So you would just call the waiter saying przepraszam, and then you will add czy mogę prosić o rachunek? And the next one for today is pomocy. Pomocy. This means help, and I hope you will not have to use this one anytime soon. But if you're ever in danger, if you ever are in a very dangerous situation, which I hope you will not be in Poland, you can use this one, saying pomocy. Do zobaczenia. Do zobaczenia means see you later. You can use it when you speak with your friends and with your family or with anyone basically, because it's not super formal, but it's not only reserved to your closest friends. So like for example, we started this one with cześć, which was hello, but it was bye as well. And this one you would use when you speak with your friends, you would say cześć. But then for everybody else, your friends included, you can say do zobaczenia, which means until we see each other again. Potrafię dobrze mówić po polsku. I can't speak Polish very well. Nie potrafię means I can't. Mówić means to speak, and then po polsku means in Polish. So nie potrafię mówić po polsku, it literally means I can't speak Polish very well, or I can't speak in Polish very well if you wanted a very literal translation. When you start learning the language and you are still not so good and you meet like people and you want to tell them that your Polish it's not so good or it's not super good yet, you can use this phrase. Nie potrafię dobrze mówić po polsku. Thank you guys for watching. This was top 25 Polish phrases. And if you like this video, remember to give it a thumb up and leave some comments below. If you have any questions, you can leave it as well. And for more words and phrases, go to polishpod101.com. Thank you and see you again!
Want to speak real Polish from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at polishpod101.com.
Welcome to polishpod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło Cię poznać. Hi, I'm Joanna. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Polish expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Polish. We'll start speaking right away. But first, it's important to clarify that in Polish often there is a difference between formal and informal language. Let's first see how Polish people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi Cię poznać means nice to meet you, but Polish people don't really use this phrase. In informal situations, it's better if you just say miło mi. Start by saying cześć, jestem, then say your name. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Finally, if you want, say miło mi. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi. And now let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Pana poznać. Good day, my name is Joanna Suchecka. Nice to meet you. Dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Pana poznać. This is what you say if you're talking to a man. If you're talking to a woman, say dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Panią poznać. Dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Panią poznać. So what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at these expressions together. Cześć has been substituted with the formal greeting dzień dobry, Polish for good day or good morning. Jestem Joanna also changed. Jestem simply means I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, you should avoid saying this. It's better to say nazywam się Joanna Suchecka, which means my name is Joanna Suchecka. Also, in formal situations, please remember to say your full name. Finally, pay attention to the ending. We went from miło cię poznać to miło mi pana or panią poznać. We changed cię into pana or panią. If you use cię, you're addressing someone around your age. But if you find yourself in a formal situation or talk to a person who's older than you, use pana to address a man or panią to address a woman. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in Polish is cześć. Jestem Joanna. Miło mi. The formal way to introduce yourself is dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi pana poznać. Or dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi panią poznać. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you feel confused about the nice to meet you part, feel free to skip it. As I mentioned before, Polish people don't use it much. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands. It doesn't matter whether you're meeting a man or a woman. Do the handshake. Remember to make it quite firm. If your hand is too loose, it gives the other person a bad impression. We also say it feels like holding a dead fish. That's it for this lesson. Do you know how we say thank you in Polish? You'll learn how to say this and much more in the next lesson. Do zobaczenia!
Hello everybody, my name is Marzena and welcome to Polish Top Words. Today we will learn 10 questions you should know in Polish. So let's start. Jak się nazywasz? What's your name? Jak się nazywasz? What is your name? So if you meet somebody and you ask this person jak się nazywasz, you may hear an answer like nazywam się Ania. My name is Ania. Ania is actually a pretty common name in Poland. Or nazywam się Marzena. My name is Marzena. Jak się masz? How are you? Jak się masz means how are you? And you may hear an answer like dobrze, which means good. But actually, probably more often you will hear a very, very long answer and it won't be good. Because in Poland, it is not so common to ask, jak się masz. You do ask that, but you ask that only, people you are very close friends with. And you kind of need to expect a longer answer and that people will actually tell you the truth about their life and what wrong happened in it. And it's usually wrong because Polish people love complaining. So be careful with this one. If you don't have time for a longer talk, just don't ask it. Skąd jesteś? Where are you from? Skąd jesteś? Where are you from? So you may hear this question if somebody notices that you are not from Poland. And for example, if you are from America, you can answer z Ameryki, from America. So basically you just put z and then the country. Kiedy masz urodziny? When is your birthday? And if you make new friends, you may hear a question like kiedy masz urodziny? Which means when is your birthday? And a good answer for that would be just giving, the month and day. You don't have to answer in a whole sentence. So you can say, for example, 8 lutego. 8 lutego, which is February 8th. This is actually my birthday. Gdzie mieszkasz? Where do you live? Another question you may hear is gdzie mieszkasz? Gdzie mieszkasz? Gdzie mieszkasz means where do you live? And when you can answer like in details, telling the street, saying the street and everything else, or you can just, say mieszkam w Krakowie, which means I live in Krakow. Gdzie pracujesz? Where do you work? Another question you may hear in Poland is Gdzie pracujesz? Where do you work? And it can be about the place or it can be about the company. So, for example, if you don't want to say the company or you are like, reluctant, you just want to say, okay, I work in Krakow, you say, pracuję w Krakowie. If you want to say the company, on the other hand, you can just say pracuję w and change Krakow, to the name of a company. Jaki jest twój numer telefonu? What's your phone number? If somebody likes you really much, then they may ask about your phone number, saying, jaki jest twój numer telefonu? What is your phone number? So you can answer that saying, mój numer telefonu to 693 408 896, which means my number is 693 408 896. Just notice that in Polish we usually break it into like groups of three, and we say not 693, we say 693, which is 693. Gdzie się nauczyłeś polskiego? Where did you learn Polish? Now, because studying Polish it's not so common and you don't actually learn it at school in a lot of countries, you may hear a question, gdzie nauczyłeś się polskiego? Where did you learn Polish? Well, you can answer, for example, w szkole językowej, which means in language school. Czy lubisz polskie jedzenie? Do you like Polish food? Another question you may hear as a foreigner is, of course, do you like Polish food? Which in Polish is, czy lubisz polskie jedzenie? Czy lubisz polskie jedzenie? You can answer whatever you want, like if you like it. If you don't like it, don't feel, like embarrassed and just say it straight, because people will just feed you with Polish food that you don't like. But if you like it, you can say uwielbiam, which means I love it. Kiedy przyjechałeś do Polski? When did you come to Poland? Now, once you come to Poland and you start living there, you will probably hear this one a lot. Kiedy przyjechałeś do Polski? When did you come to Poland? So, if it's like for you 3 years, you can say przyjechałem do Polski 3 lata temu. I came to Poland 3 years ago. And that's all for today. We learned 10 questions you should know in Polish. Thank you for listening. And remember to like this video and to check polishpod101.com. Thank you again and see you next time.
Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to polishpod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned how to thank people by saying dziękuję. In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in Poland. Gotowi? Are you ready? Zaczynamy. Let's start. There are a few informal greetings in Polish. Cześć. Cześć. Cześć means hi or hello. Another informal greeting is siema. Siema. This phrase also means hi, but it's used only by young people. Another very common greeting is hey. 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 Hey is very easy because it's exactly the same as English hey. All these greetings are very informal, and we should only use them with friends or close relatives. Now let's move on to formal greetings in Polish. There are only 2 that you need to know. We'll start with dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Literally, dzień dobry means good day. We can use dzień dobry during the whole day, from early morning until evening. If it's the evening, we would say dobry wieczór. Dobry wieczór. What should you say when you leave? Polish people usually say do widzenia when living in a formal situation. Do widzenia. Do widzenia means goodbye. If, however, we are saying goodbye to friends or relatives, we can use the informal papa. Pa, or simply pa. Now you can greet people and say goodbye in many different ways in Polish. Let's review them all again. First, formal greetings. Dzień dobry. Use this phrase during the day. Dobry wieczór. Use this phrase in the evening. The informal greetings are cześć, siema, hej. When living in a formal situation, we say do widzenia. And in an informal situation, it's papa or just pa. Easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Joanna's insights. Do you remember siema? It's an abbreviation of jak się masz, which means how are you? But we just use it in the same way as hi. It's a very common greeting among young people. You will find, as you continue to study Polish, that new greetings constantly appear among young people who often come up with new uses for well-known phrases or their abbreviations. During the next lesson, we'll learn the meaning of the phrase czy mówisz po angielsku? Do you already know it? See you in the next Polski w 3 minuty lesson. Pa!
Hello everybody, my name is Marzena. Welcome to Top Polish Words, and today we will learn how to respond to how are you? Jak się masz? How are you? So our first phrase for today is jak się masz? Jak się masz? Jak się masz, or how are you, is something you can use with your friends, with your family, with somebody you know. If you are talking to somebody you don't know, or if you are talking to somebody you should have a respect for, to your teacher or to your boss, somebody you are not very familiar with, then you will not say jak się masz. You will say jak się pan ma, if it's a guy, or jak się pani ma, if it's a girl. A ty, and you. A ty. A ty, and you. Basically, a ty, which means and you, is also used the same as jak się masz. It's also used to close family, to close friends, to somebody you know, because ty means you, and we don't say that in Polish as often as in English, so you use it to people you know, to people the same age. But if somebody is older than you and you owe them respect, you will not say ty. You will say pan if it's a guy, or pani if it's a girl. So you will say not a ty, but you will say a pan, a pani. Co u ciebie ostatnio słychać? How have you been recently? Co u ciebie ostatnio słychać? How have you been recently? Co u ciebie ostatnio słychać? We basically use it more or less as often as how are you. So jak się masz? Co u ciebie słychać? And you can add recently. So co u ciebie ostatnio słychać? You can use both, whichever you like. Just remember that if you ask a Polish person, how are you, or have you been recently? Jak się masz? Co u ciebie słychać? Co u ciebie ostatnio słychać? You may hear the whole answer. So a lot of people will not only say good or fine and how are you, they will actually start to elaborate on their whole life. So they may say, oh, I'm very bad, oh, I have problems here and there. So unless you have a few minutes to listen to that, don't ask. W porządku. I'm fine. Now, how can you answer questions like that? So you can say w porządku, which means I'm fine. If you don't want to talk about it, you just say w porządku, I'm fine. Nie jest źle. I'm not bad. You can say nie jest źle, which basically means I'm not bad. But literally it means it's not bad. So if you don't want to say that, well, I'm great, because you are not great, but you are like just fine, you can say nie jest źle, nie jest źle. U mnie też dobrze. I'm fine too. If you are fine too, you can say u mnie też dobrze. I'm fine too. U mnie też dobrze. Which literally means at my place is good as well. U mnie też dobrze. U mnie, at my place, też dobrze. Is fine as well, is good as well. Źle się czuję. I'm feeling bad. Another one is I'm feeling bad, which in Polish you will say źle się czuję. źle się czuję. The same for guy or girl. Źle się czuję. And this one, I think you will hear a lot. People like to complain, and Polish people, we do love to complain. So that one that you may actually hear. Źle się czuję. Ze mną wszystko w porządku. I'm okay. So whenever you want to say I'm okay, you can say ze mną wszystko w porządku. I'm okay. Ze mną wszystko w porządku. Porządku means just in order. So if you want to translate it literally, it means with me, ze mną, wszystko, everything is in order, w porządku. Ze mną wszystko w porządku. With me, everything is in order. So I'm fine. Or just short, you can say w porządku. Czuję się świetnie. I'm great. Czuję się świetnie. Czuję się świetnie, which basically means I'm great. If you are okay, you can just say, oh, czuję się świetnie. Bywało lepiej. It used to be better. If you are not too well, but you don't want to elaborate, you can say bywało lepiej. Bywało lepiej means it used to be better. So if you are not too bad, but you are not in a very, very good situation right now and you don't want to elaborate on it, you can just simply say bywało lepiej. And the other person will know that, well, it's not the best time for you. Bywało lepiej. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Once again, my name is Marzena, and today we learn how to respond to how are you. How would you respond to how are you? Please leave us a comment. And remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and go to polishpod101.com for more content like that. See you!
Want to speak real Polish from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at polishpod101.com.
Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to polishpod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Poland. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Polish, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you are saying, even if their answer is no. Here's an informal way to say it. Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy is a particle which has no meaning. It's similar to the English do. In Polish, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Since you can understand what the pronoun is by looking at the verb conjugation, we usually skip the pronoun itself. That's why there's no pronoun after czy. Next, we've got the verb mówisz, which means speak. Then there's po, which we always have to put right before a language name. And finally, angielsku, which means English. We're now going to make this sentence formal. First of all, we have to change mówisz into mówi, because the pronoun is changed from you into a respectful pronoun meaning sir or ma'am. Then we add pan, which means sir, or pani, which means ma'am. Everything else stays the same. Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Adding przepraszam, excuse me, makes the sentence more polite. Przepraszam, czy mówi pan po angielsku? Przepraszam, czy mówi pani po angielsku? The response you will receive could be one of these four. Tak, yes, tak. Trochę, a little, trochę. Nie, no. Nie. Nie, nie mówię po angielsku. No, I don't speak English. Nie. Nie mówię po angielsku. Since the last one is a negative statement, we need to say nie before the verb mówię. Notice also that the verb is slightly different than before. Remember, the verb changes depending on the pronoun used. We are now talking about ourselves, so the sentence is nie mówię po angielsku. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Polish people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute po angielsku with po niemiecku for German, po rosyjsku for Russian, po włosku for Italian, po hiszpańsku for Spanish, po francusku for French. Today we mentioned the expression przepraszam. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Polish. It's never too late to show your good manners with Polish people. I'll see you in our next Polski w 3 minuty lesson. Do zobaczyska!
Hello everyone and welcome to Polish Top Words. So today we will learn top 25 Polish verbs. Być. To be. Być. Być actually means to be, so yeah, you can say like być albo nie być, which just means to be or not to be. And of course, in Polish, all those verbs will be changing, depends on the person. So for example, if I want to say I'm happy, I would just say jestem szczęśliwa. Lubić. To like. Lubić. Lubić means just to like something, so whenever you're asking somebody, what do you like? Or you want to say, I like this, you would use this verb. Of course, change it, depending on the person. For example, you can say, lubisz lody? Do you like ice cream? Robić. To do. Robić. Robić means to do. So you can say, what are you doing today? Co dzisiaj robisz? Mówić. To say. Mówić. So when you translate it to English, it just means to say. You can get angry at somebody. Nie mów takich rzeczy, which means don't say such things. Wyjaśnić. To explain. Wyjaśnić. Wyjaśnić means to explain. When you're angry at somebody or you don't understand something or you want to ask for help and you want to say, can you explain this? You can use this one and you can say, możesz to wyjaśnić? Can you explain this? And depends on your tone, it can be asking for a favor. Możesz to wyjaśnić? Or it can be getting really angry at somebody and just willing them to, explain why they did it and say, możesz to wyjaśnić? Słyszeć. To hear. Słyszeć. Słyszeć means to hear in English. And for example, you can say, słyszałam, że tu mają dobre pierogi. I've heard they have good dumplings here. So if you're a girl, you would say słyszałam, I've heard. If you're a guy, you would say słyszałem. So słyszałam, słyszałem. It will change a little bit depending on the gender. You can basically take this sentence and put something different at the end and use it as a kind of set phrase. Słyszałem, że, słyszałam, że. Iść. To go. Iść. Iść means to go. So when you want to ask your friend, where are you going? You can say, gdzie idziesz? Wiedzieć. To know. Wiedzieć. Wiedzieć is translated to English as to know, and it is a little bit tricky verb because people often confuse it with another verb, znać. And both actually are translated as to know into English. So for example, you can say nic nie wiem. I do not know anything. Nic nie wiem. I do not know anything. Widzieć, to see. Widzieć. Widzieć means to see. So if you saw like something very weird on the sky, like something that looks like a plane and it's not, and you are not sure if you're actually seeing it or not, you can ask your friend if he or she is seeing it too, saying, widzisz to? You see this? Przyjść, to come. Przyjść, to come. For example, you are at the party and you want to know who is coming. So you ask your friend who is the organizer. Kto przyjdzie na przyjęcie? Who is coming to the party? Myśleć, to think. Myśleć. This one is pretty important since it means to think. When you go shopping with your best friend and you are trying on different clothes and then, you see her in a very, very nice dress, you can say, myślę, że ci to pasuje. I think it suits you. Patrzeć, to look. Patrzeć, which means to look. So, for example, you can say when you saw something weird and you want to show it to your friend or something interesting, popatrz tam. Look there. Chcieć, to want. Chcieć, which means to want. If you have everything you ever wanted and you don't want anything anymore, you can say, niczego więcej nie chcę, which will literally mean, I do not want anything more. Dać, to give. Dać. Dać means to give. So when you go out and you meet this nice guy or cute girl and you want to ask them for their email address, you'd ask them using dać. Dasz mi swój email? Will you give me your email address? Używać, to use. Używać. Używać means to use. When you see this thing that you've never used before and you want to say, okay, can you help me because I've never used it, you can say, nigdy tego nie używałem, means I've never used it before. Or, nigdy tego nie używałam. If you are a guy, you would say, używałem. If you're a girl, you would say, używałam. Znaleźć, to find. Znaleźć. Znaleźć means to find. Imagine your friend brought you a nice dress and which you are going to wear at a party, but you don't really like it. It doesn't suit you well and you want to ask her to find you something better. So you can say, może uda się znaleźć coś lepszego, which means maybe we can find something better. Wychodzić, to go out. Wychodzić. Wychodzić means to go out. It's actually a verb that consists of two parts, which are written together. So wy means like outside, and chodzić means like to walk. So wychodzić means to walk outside, which is just go out. For example, let's imagine you live with your friend and she is going out somewhere and you want to ask her what time are you going out. You can say, o której wychodzisz? Zapytać, to ask. Zapytać. Zapytać means to ask. Sometimes when you want to ask for something which is very difficult to ask for, and, just to be nice, you want to say like, can I ask you something? In Polish you can say, czy mogę cię o coś zapytać? Or you can even ask, excuse me, can I ask you something? Przepraszam, czy mogę cię o coś zapytać? Pracować, to work. Pracować. Pracować is an interesting word. It actually means to work. So you can use it when you want to say, I have never worked in such a company. Nigdy nie pracowałam w takiej firmie. Or if you're a guy, you would say, nigdy nie pracowałem w takiej firmie. Wejść, to enter. Wejść. Wejść means to enter or to come in. Well, when your friend visits you and you want to just say, please come in, please, or just, you can say, wejdź proszę, which means literally, come in, please. Czuć, to feel. Czuć, to feel. This one can be pretty useful if you want to say that you do not feel well today and you want to skip work or skip your classes or just cancel some appointment. You can say, źle się dzisiaj czuję, which means I'm feeling bad today. Próbować, to try. Próbować. Próbować means to try. Let's say your friend is visiting and you made this wonderful food, amazing dishes, and you want him or her to try it. You can invite them saying, spróbuj to, which means try it. Zostawić, to leave. Zostawić. Zostawić means to leave. When you are angry or irritated and you don't want people to talk to you and just leave me alone, please, you can say, zostaw mnie w spokoju. Zostaw mnie w spokoju. Which means leave me alone. Zadzwonić, to call. Zadzwonić. So, zadzwonić means to call. And let's say somebody calls you and you cannot really talk right now, so you want to say, okay, I will call you back later. You just say, zadzwonię potem. I will call later. Biegać, to run. Biegać, to run. If you are not one of those sporty person and you don't really like running is totally not your thing, and you want to say, well, friends invite you, but you are like, sorry, that's not really my cup of tea, and you want to say, sorry, I don't like running, you can say, nie lubię biegać. Nie lubię, or just say, lubię. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching Top 25 Polish Verbs. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave your comments. And for more videos and more vocabulary, go to polishpod101.com. Thank you again and see you next time!
Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to polishpod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned some words used when apologizing in Polish. In this lesson, we are going to learn numbers in Polish, from 1 to 10. And you are going to learn them in only 3 minutes. 3 minuty. Let's start. 1. 1. 2. 2. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. 6. 6. 7. 7. 8. 8. 9. 9. 10. 10. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Great job! What is before 1? Do you know? It's the same as in English, but with a different pronunciation. 0. 0. Now you don't have any more excuses. You can give your friends your phone number in Polish. Let's try together. We will use the phrase mój numer to, which means my number is. Mój numer to. Mój numer to 602 849 020. Can you read it by yourself? 602 849 020. Perfect. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. In Poland, we use numbers the most often when we go shopping, especially when we ask about prices, which you will also learn soon. We also buy many things per kilogram. All vegetables and many fruits are not sold individually, but per kilogram. Also cheese, meat and sausages. So if you go to a grocery store or supermarket, you would ask the clerk for example, 1 kilogram of minced meat, 500 grams of cheese, or 2 kilograms of onions. Do you know the Polish word for 100? In the next lesson, we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100 in Polish. Your task now is to practice the numbers we studied in this lesson, from 1 to 10. Powodzenia! Good luck!
Hello everyone, my name is Marzena. Welcome to Top Polish Words. Today we will learn 20 travel phrases you should know. So here we go. Czy mógłbym dostać mapę? Could I get a map? So imagine you are in a new place and you go to the information center and you want a map. So you will ask, can I get a map? And in Polish you will ask, czy mógłbym dostać mapę? Czy mógłbym dostać mapę? Czy mógłbym dostać mapę? Could I get a map? Or if you are a girl, you will ask, czy mogłabym dostać mapę? Czy mogłabym dostać mapę? Again, could I get a map? Czy mógłbym dostać mapę? Czy mogłabym dostać mapę? Czy mówisz po angielsku? Do you speak English? Now you're wandering around and you want to ask for the way and you see somebody and you want to ask them if they speak English. So you want to ask, do you speak English? Do you speak English? In Polish you would say, czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy mówisz po angielsku? And I guess this is the easiest way to say that, but not the nicest way, because actually mówisz, so do you speak English, it's something you will use with your friends, with somebody close to you, and for a person you don't know, it's better to say sir or ma'am. So in Polish you will say, if it's a guy, czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pan po angielsku? And if it's a girl, czy mówi pani po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? But if you want to do it the easy way, nobody will get angry at you. They will know that you are not so good at Polish, that you are still trying to figure stuff out, and you can easily say, czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy jest autobus z lotniska do miasta? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? Now, imagine you just arrived and you're at the airport and you want to ask around how to get to the city center. You're looking for a bus and you want to ask, is there a bus from the airport to the city center? You can just say, czy jest autobus z lotniska do miasta? Czy jest autobus z lotniska do miasta? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? And I can tell you in Warsaw, yes, there is. There is also a very convenient train, by the way. Czy Wi-Fi jest darmowe? Is the Wi-Fi free? When you are traveling, you usually want to connect to the internet. And you are looking for Wi-Fi, and you are looking for a free Wi-Fi, and you want to ask if the Wi-Fi is free. You can ask in Polish, czy Wi-Fi jest darmowe? Czy Wi-Fi jest darmowe? Is the Wi-Fi free? Czy Wi-Fi jest darmowe? Actually, if you go and ask, czy Wi-Fi jest darmowe, people will not understand you. So you have to change the Wi-Fi pronunciation. Even though the word is the same, the spelling is the same, you have to change Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi. So if you're looking for a free Wi-Fi, remember you can ask, is the Wi-Fi free? Czy Wi-Fi jest darmowe? By the way, you will find it very easily everywhere, almost everywhere you will have free Wi-Fi. You are walking the street, in the city center, in almost, I think every coffee shop, actually not almost every, but every coffee shop, every hotel, basically everywhere. Czy mają Państwo wolne pokoje na dzisiaj? Do you have any vacancies tonight? Now, imagine you're looking for an accommodation and you see a hotel, you walk in and you want to ask, do you have any vacancies tonight? Do you have any vacancies tonight? In Polish you would say, czy mają Państwo wolne pokoje na dzisiaj? Do you have vacancies tonight? Czy mają Państwo wolne pokoje na dzisiaj? Which means wolne pokoje. Wolne pokoje. If you want to translate it literally, it means free rooms, not for free, but free as a, nobody there. But this is what we say in Polish for vacancies. Czy mają Państwo wolne pokoje na dzisiaj? Czy mają Państwo wolne pokoje na dzisiaj? Do you have vacancies tonight? Czy mógłbym się przenieść do innego pokoju? Could I move to a different room? Now imagine you are already in your room and then something is broken, something is not working and you want to ask if you can move to another room. What you would say in Polish is, czy mógłbym się przenieść do innego pokoju? Czy mógłbym się przenieść do innego pokoju? Could I move to a different room? But that's if you are a guy, czy mógłbym. If you are a girl, you would say, czy mogłabym. Czy mógłbym? Czy mogłabym? Czy mógłbym się przenieść do innego pokoju? Czy mogłabym się przenieść do innego pokoju? Could I move to a different room? Mam rezerwację. I have a reservation. Now, if you're one of those lucky persons who actually booked everything and then you just arrive and you have everything organized, you arrived at the hotel and you want to say, I have a reservation. In Polish you would say, mam rezerwację. Mam rezerwację. I have a reservation. Mam rezerwację. Or, for example, you can add for today, mam rezerwację na dzisiaj. Or if you are calling them and you want to say, oh, I have a reservation for tomorrow, but I will arrive late or something like that, you can say, mam rezerwację na jutro. Mam rezerwację na jutro. Or if you want to say, I have a reservation for September 15th, you can say, mam rezerwację na 15 września. So there is this preposition na. Mam rezerwację na, and then the date comes. It can be a date or a day, like jutro, tomorrow. Czy moglibyśmy prosić o menu? Could we have the menu, please? And imagine you enter a restaurant. Depends on the country. Sometimes you have to ask for things. Sometimes the waiter or waitress will just bring everything to you. In Poland, I think in a lot of places you will wait long time before they bring everything. So it's better to ask. And for example, if you want to have the menu and you want to say, could we have the menu, please? In Polish you will say, czy moglibyśmy prosić o menu? Czy moglibyśmy prosić o menu? There is a Polish word for menu, which you will say, well, in Polish, karta dań, karta dań, but we don't use it very often. So usually just menu is okay. Czy moglibyśmy prosić o menu? Ma pan jakieś rekomendacje? Do you have any recommendations? Now, imagine you are staying at a hotel and you want to walk around, you want to see new places, but you don't really know where to go and you want to ask for the recommendation. What you would say to a guy is, ma pan jakieś rekomendacje? Ma pan jakieś rekomendacje? And to a girl, you would say, ma pani jakieś rekomendacje? Ma pani jakieś rekomendacje? Do you have any recommendations? It can be either about sightseeing or when you already have this menu and you are ordering something and you don't know what Polish food is like and which is good, which is bad, which is the most traditional one. You just ask the waiter or waitress. Czy ma pan jakieś rekomendacje? Czy ma pani jakieś rekomendacje? Do you have any recommendations? Czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Could I have the check, please? Now, when you finish and you want to get the bill and just go, and you want to ask, could I have the check, please? In Polish, you would say, czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Could I have the check, please? Could I have the check, please? Czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Where rachunek means bill or check. Czy mogę prosić o rachunek? Jestem uczulony na orzeszki ziemne. I'm allergic to peanuts. Now, when you have some allergies, it's very important to tell your waiter or waitress that you have them, because sometimes they can prepare dish that can actually be very dangerous for you. So if you want to say I'm allergic to peanuts, you will say jestem uczulony na orzeszki ziemne. Jestem uczulony na orzeszki ziemne. And if you have any other allergies, you will just say jestem uczulony na and then add the allergy. So jestem uczulony na orzeszki ziemne is one of the examples. Now, if you are a girl, you will change it a little bit. You will say, instead of uczulony, you will say uczulona. So instead of saying jestem uczulony na orzeszki ziemne, you will say jestem uczulona na orzeszki ziemne. Poproszę wodę. Water, please. In many countries, in restaurant, water is for free. In Poland, actually, it's not for free, but you can order it, of course. And when you want to say water, please, in Polish you would say poproszę wodę. Water, please. Poproszę wodę. Which, remember, you will be charged for it. Ile to kosztuje? How much is this? It's never good to buy something if you don't know the price. And same goes for Poland, especially if you go and buy something in the bazaar. They can cheat you, they can charge you extra, so it's always better to ask first. And to do so, you just say, ile to kosztuje? Ile to kosztuje? How much is this? How much is this? Ile to kosztuje? Wezmę to. I would like this. Now, even if you don't know the Polish name, you can always point at something and say, I would like this. Now, how to say it in Polish? In Polish, you would say, wezmę to. I would like this. Wezmę to. Just simply point at the thing and say, wezmę to. I would like this. Wezmę to. Which literally means I will take this. Wezmę to. Czy dostanę zniżkę? Could you give me a discount? It is not so uncommon, not so unheard of to just bargain, especially when you are buying on the street and bazaar. In a big shop, not so much, but you can always try to ask for a discount if you are buying bigger amount. So if you want to ask, could you give me a discount? In Polish you would say, czy dostanę zniżkę? Czy dostanę zniżkę? Could you give me a discount? Czy dostanę zniżkę? Czy akceptują Państwo karty kredytowe? Do you take credit cards? Now, a lot of people travels with no cash on them. It's easier, it's more efficient. Even if you lose your credit card, you can always block it, you can always probably undo some transactions. But it's also very important to ask if they actually accept credit cards in the place where you are going to. And in Poland, I think most places does, or I guess almost all places does. But it's also a good practice to just ask about it. And if you want to say, do you take credit card? Do you take credit card? In Polish would be, czy akceptują Państwo karty kredytowe? Czy akceptują Państwo karty kredytowe? Czy akceptują Państwo karty kredytowe? Do you take credit card? Przepraszam, gdzie jest stacja kolejowa? Excuse me, where is the train station? And if you are walking around the street and you want to find the train station, let's say, or anything else, you can use the same sentence actually to anything else. You can stop somebody saying przepraszam, which is something like excuse me, and then adding gdzie jest stacja kolejowa? Przepraszam, gdzie jest stacja kolejowa? Which in English would mean excuse me, where is the train station? Przepraszam, gdzie jest stacja kolejowa? Excuse me, where is the train station? Przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet? Excuse me, how much is the ticket? So you just say, excuse me, how much is the ticket? In Polish you would say, przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet? Przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet? Excuse me, how much is the ticket? And of course, it can be an entrance ticket as well, or a train ticket. And if it's a train ticket from place A to place B, you can ask, przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet do? And then add the name of your destination. For example, przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet do Krakowa? Przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet do Warszawy? Przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet do Opola? Przepraszam, ile kosztuje bilet do Wrocławia? And so on, and so on. Czy mógłby pan zrobić mi zdjęcie? Could you take a picture of me, please? Traveling alone is a great thing, but if you want to take a picture, well, you can take a selfie and you can use the selfie stick, but it's not always so great. So sometimes it's better to just stop somebody and ask, could you take a picture of me, please? Which in Polish you would say, czy mógłby pan zrobić mi zdjęcie? Czy mógłby pan zrobić mi zdjęcie? If the person you ask is a guy. But if it's a girl, you would say, czy mogłaby pani zrobić mi zdjęcie? Czy mogłaby pani zrobić mi zdjęcie? Czy ten autobus jedzie na lotnisko? Is this the right bus for the airport? Now imagine you are going to the airport and you see a bus, but you are not sure if it's going to the airport. So what would you ask in Polish? Czy ten autobus jedzie na lotnisko? Czy ten autobus jedzie na lotnisko? Is this the right bus for the airport? Czy ten autobus jedzie na lotnisko? And I guess most people will be more than happy to help you. Czy ten autobus jedzie na lotnisko? Is this the right bus to the airport? That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Today we learned 20 travel phrases you should know. Are there any other travel phrases you want to know? Please leave us a comment. Remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and go to polishpod101.com for more content like that. Thank you again and see ya!
Want to speak real Polish from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at polishpod101.com.
Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to polishpod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned how to count in Polish. I hope you spent some time practicing the numbers because they will come in handy today. We're going to learn how to go shopping in Poland. Before we go, you need to know how to say how much is it? Ile to kosztuje? Ile to kosztuje? Are you ready to go shopping in Poland? Let's go! You see something you like and want to ask the shop clerk how much it costs. The first thing to say is przepraszam. Do you remember what that means? Excuse me. Przepraszam, ile to kosztuje? Przepraszam, ile to kosztuje? If we want to be more specific when asking how much is it and refer to a certain type of object, we first need to know if the object is a feminine or masculine object. If it's masculine, add ten when referring to it, and ta for a feminine object, and then say the noun. For example, a watch is masculine. Zegarek. Przepraszam, ile kosztuje ten zegarek? Excuse me, how much is this watch? Przepraszam, ile kosztuje ten zegarek? And skirt is a feminine noun. Spódnica. Przepraszam, ile kosztuje ta spódnica? Excuse me, how much is this skirt? Przepraszam, ile kosztuje ta spódnica? And finally, if we ask about the price of a few similar items, like these t-shirts these apples, these toys, we have to add te before the noun. For example, przepraszam, ile kosztują te jabłka? Excuse me, how much are these apples? Przepraszam, ile kosztują te jabłka? At this point, the shop clerk will usually answer by saying just the price of an item. For example, 15 złotych, 100 złotych, or 24,50. What number is 15? Do you remember? Of course, it's 15. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. A quicker and more commonly used phrase is po ile, which literally means how much. Then we just add the name of an item we want to know the price of. For example, po ile te jabłka? Or po ile ten zegarek? Or you can just say po ile and point to the item. Both ways are perfectly fine. At this point, can you count złoty in Polish? We are going to learn how to do this and much more in the next lesson. I'll be waiting for you in our next Polski w 3 minuty lesson. Do zobaczyska!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Polish Top Words. My name is Marzena and today we will learn top 10 must-know vocabulary for the restaurant. So our first word is kellner, waiter, and it's a masculine noun. So for example, if a waiter is very rude, you can say ten kelner jest bardzo niegrzeczny. Ten kelner jest bardzo niegrzeczny. This waiter is very rude. And our next word is kelnerka, waitress. So kellner is the masculine form, while kelnerka is the feminine. For example, you can say ile zarabia kelnerka? Ile zarabia kelnerka? How much money does a waitress make? So in general, the service in Poland is not that bad, but sometimes you may be unhappy with something, and if that's the case, it's okay not to tip because the waiter or the waitress, they usually earn enough to cover their salary. But a rule in Poland would be to tip more or less 15-20%, but it's obviously up to you. So if you are more than happy with the service, you can go for 20%. If you are not so happy, you can go for 10 or just leave. Nobody will be angry at you. Our next word is almost the same as the English one, and it's menu. Menu. And with so many different restaurants, maybe there is some food you don't eat, something you don't like, and there is like vegetarian menu, and there is a vegan menu, and there is of course all the other types like pescatarian menu. So for example, when you walk into the restaurant and you are not so much into fish or meat, you can just ask, czy mają państwo menu wegetariańskie? Do you have a vegetarian menu? And surprisingly, even though Polish cuisine is so heavy on meat, we do have plenty, and I mean plenty, vegetarian restaurants spread all over the Poland, but especially in Warsaw. Warsaw is being known as European capital of vegetarian food and vegan food. And of course, one of the very important words when you are in the restaurant is zamówienie, order. Zamówienie, order. So zamówienie comes from a verb zamawiać, which means to order. So in English it's the same, basically almost the same word. It's just noun and a verb, order and to order. In Polish it's zamówienie as the noun and zamawiać as the verb. So the waiter can come to your table and ask, czy mogę przyjąć zamówienie? May I take your order? Another very important word, not only for restaurant, but in general, is woda, water. Woda means just water. And I know that in some countries you can get water for free in a restaurant, but in Poland you pay for it always. Be careful when you order it, just check on the menu what the price is, because it can be actually pretty high, almost the same as juice or even beer sometimes. And we do have both sparkling and non-sparkling water. It's very popular. Both are. So, for example, if you are the kind of person who doesn't like sparkling water, you would like to ask for non-sparkling one, you would say, poproszę wodę niegazowaną. I would like to have non-sparkling water. And of course, when you finish the meal, the most important thing is dessert. Dessert. Dessert, you probably feel like you've heard it somewhere because it sounds so much like the English word. Dessert is dessert. 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 So when the waiter or the waiters will be taking your order, they will probably ask at the end, czy życzy sobie pani coś na deser? Would you like something for the dessert? So we've got a lot of different desserts in Poland, and one of the most famous one would be szarlotka, which is an apple pie served with ice cream and with whipped cream. Another very good one, but available, I think, only for Christmas, is the popsicle cake, which is the best for me. I like my favorite dessert ever. And of course, there is a lot of other pies. There's a wonderful cheesecake, very different from what you will see in all the other countries. So please be sure to try it out. Szef kuchni. Chef. So if you go with your friends to this very nice restaurant and you know that the chef here is very, very famous, you can say in Polish, szef kuchni w tej restauracji jest bardzo znany. The chef in this restaurant is very famous. Fast food. Fast food, which is just fast food. I guess the accent is more like Polish. And then another thing is that you know that in Polish we change nouns, we change the endings. So even though it's an English word, we would still change it. So it's like fast food, fast foodów, fast food. So even though it's an English word, we'll still change it, like fast food sometimes would just become fast foodów. And we do have a Polish type of fast food as well, which is pretty old. This Polish type, it's actually Polish hot dog, and we still call it hot dog, but there is no and there is no sausage or anything or any meat inside. It's just mushrooms, and it comes from the time long time ago when we literally didn't have meat. It was very difficult to get meat. Even though people had money for that, they just couldn't buy it. So that's the invention of that time, and I still remember it. Oh my gosh, when I was little, I just loved to go with my mom and buy those hot dogs, and we called them hot dogs, but they were like hot dogs with mushrooms, and that's it, just mushrooms, like just the bun with mushrooms. You cannot see them so often anymore. You can still probably when you just look around, but it's not that common anymore. If you are like me and you don't really like fast food, you will say nie lubię fast foodów. I don't like fast food. Restauracja, restaurant, and you can already hear it sounds very much like the English word restaurant, because it's restaurant. Restauracja, restauracja. And I guess you know that a lot of restaurants are being judged by having Michelin star or not having it. I don't think there is a lot of restaurants in Poland with Michelin star, but the one that do have it, they will be extremely, and I mean like extremely expensive. Nevertheless, if you find one, you can always say ta restauracja ma gwiazdkę Michelin. This restaurant has a Michelin star. Rachunek, bill. Rachunek comes from a very old Polish word which we probably don't use anymore. A verb, rachować. Rachować means just to count. And right now we would just say liczyć, not rachować. But this word, its form, it's still there in the word rachunek. Rachunek. And It's also very important to just look at your bill before you go back home, because sometimes people may make mistakes on purpose or not on purpose, but just it happens. And if something is wrong, you can always say, przepraszam, ale ten rachunek się nie zgadza. I'm sorry, but this bill is not correct. Thank you for watching. This was Top 10 Must Know Vocabulary for the Restaurant. Be sure to like this video and please tell us in comments what kind of Polish food do you like. And if you want more content like this, please go to polishpod101.com. See you! Hello everybody, my name is Marzena. Welcome to Top Polish Words. Today we will learn top 10 ways to prepare your travel. Okay, so here we go. Wybrać miejsce. Wybrać miejsce. To choose your destination. So one of the most important is wybrać miejsce. Wybrać miejsce means to choose your destination. Wybrać means to choose, and miejsce literally it means place, but of course here we mean like the place where you are going to. So wybrać miejsce altogether means to choose your destination, and for example you can say wybrałeś już miejsce na kolejne wakacje? Wybrałeś już miejsce na kolejne wakacje? Have you already chosen your next holiday destination? Wybrałeś już miejsce na następne wakacje? And of course it's Poland, and that's of course it's Krakow, Wrocław. I highly recommend Wrocław to you. So it's a wonderful city, and you can drink amazing beer at the city center. And there is also this Wrocław Tower, very big skyscraper, and it's like the only skyscraper there, which is very funny. And you can sleep for a pretty cheap money in a penthouse at the 46th floor. So be sure to try it out when you're in Poland. Kupić poradnik. Kupić poradnik. To buy a guidebook. Next very important thing is kupić przewodnik. Kupić przewodnik, well, kupić means to buy, and przewodnik can mean a guide as a person, but we are not buying a person here. Or it can mean przewodnik as in guidebook, and that's the przewodnik we are talking about. So kupić przewodnik means to buy a guidebook. Once again, kupić przewodnik. Kupić przewodnik, to buy a guidebook. And I guess nowadays you will buy a digital guidebook, which is just easier to walk around. But it's a very good way to prepare for your trip, and a very good way to research as well. I know that we have internet and all the things on the internet, which is amazing, but still a guidebook is better prepared. So you can say to your travel buddy, kupisz przewodnik? Kupisz przewodnik? Will you buy a guidebook? So we can plan, we can start preparing, we can start planning. And kupisz przewodnik, and will you share it with me? Zaoszczędzić pieniądze. Zaoszczędzić pieniądze. To save money. Our next step is a very important one, and it's zaoszczędzić pieniądze. Zaoszczędzić pieniądze. Well, zaoszczędzić means to save, and pieniądze is money. So zaoszczędzić pieniądze altogether gives us to save money. And of course it's a very important step, not only for traveling, but many other things. For example, you can say, musimy zacząć oszczędzać pieniądze. We need to start saving money. Musimy zacząć oszczędzać pieniądze. And you probably noticed that I'm saying zaoszczędzić, and here I'm saying oszczędzać. There is this za part missing from the beginning. And that's okay, because zaoszczędzić is already a perfective form, while zacząć oszczędzać is the imperfective one. So it's not finished. It's not a finished action. But it's the same verb. Zarezerwować lot. Zarezerwować lot. To book a flight. Another important step is, of course, zarezerwować lot. Zarezerwować means to book. To book something. You can book a table, you can book a room, but here we are talking about something different. We are talking about lot, and lot means flight, a flight. So zarezerwować lot means to book a flight. So for example, if you already booked your flight, you can say zarezerwowałam lot do Paryża. Well, this time we are talking about Paris, but of course we want to talk about Warsaw as well. So if you already booked your flight, you can say zarezerwowałam lot do Krakowa. Zarezerwowałam lot do Krakowa. I booked a flight to Krakow. Zarezerwowałam lot do Krakowa. And actually zarezerwowałam is an ending for a girl. So if you're a guy, you don't want to say zarezerwowałam. You want to say zarezerwowałem. So the very ending changes from łam to łem. Łam, łem. Girl, guy. Łam, łem. Zarezerwowałam, zarezerwowałem. Podliczyć koszty. Podliczyć koszty. To research the costs. Another important phrase is podliczyć koszty. Podliczyć koszty means to calculate, or actually podliczyć means to calculate or to sum up, and koszty means just costs. So basically very similar to English, right? Koszty, costs, kind of the same sound. And podliczyć koszty all together you can translate as to research the costs or to calculate, to sum up the costs. And of course this is a very important thing to do, so before you start actually oszczędzać or to save money, you need to know how much you have to save in order to go somewhere. And that's when it comes in handy. So, for example, you can say, pamiętaj, żeby podliczyć koszty. Remember to research the costs. Złożyć wniosek o wolne. Złożyć wniosek o wolne. To request vacation time. Another important step is, if you are working, you need to złożyć wniosek o wolne. Złożyć wniosek o wolne. Złożyć means to put together, like the literal meaning is to put together, but here we use it as submit something. And a wniosek o wolne is just a form to get vacation. So altogether we can translate as to request vacation time, but literally it just means to submit a form for vacation. And for example, you can say, złożyłeś już wniosek o wolne? Have you already requested vacation time? Złożyłeś już wniosek o wolne? Zarezerwować noclegi. Zarezerwować noclegi. To book accommodations. The next phrase is zarezerwować noclegi. Zarezerwować noclegi. So zarezerwować means to book, and here we are talking about noclegi. Noclegi is a plural form of nocleg, which just basically we translate it easily to accommodation. So zarezerwować noclegi means to book accommodation. And if you've already done this, you can say zarezerwowałam nam wszystkie noclegi. Zarezerwowałam nam wszystkie noclegi. I have booked our accommodations. Zarezerwowałam nam wszystkie noclegi. And actually the same here. Well, zarezerwowałam is for girls, so that's the feminine form. Zarezerwowałam, the ending, while guy would say zarezerwowałem. So the ending is wem. Zarezerwowałam, feminine, and zarezerwowałem, masculine. So choose your form, choose the one to use. And I guess, you've got a wide range of different types of accommodation in Poland. You can choose a very cheap hostel, which we basically call the same hostel, or you can choose hotel. You can go for Airbnb or any kind of this stuff, like the kind of blah 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 again. So you can go for hotel or hostel or Airbnb kind of accommodation. And usually, I guess, the accommodation is not that expensive in Poland, although it depends on the season. And surprisingly enough, for Warsaw, the middle of summer is not high season. So if you want to like visit Warsaw or even Krakow, the middle of summer, it should be on the lower season part, because people are going to the sea or to the mountains, just taking a break from big cities. So it's maybe the good time to go to big cities as well. Uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy. Uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy. To obtain an international driving license. Also, a very important thing to do if you want to drive around Poland is to obtain an international driving license. And in Poland we say, or in Polish we say, uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy. Uzyskać means to obtain or to get something, or like get profit is the same uzyskać. Międzynarodowe, it means international. Między and this inter is kind of the same part of the word, and national or narodowe is the same part, so it's kind of like a literal translation. Prawo jazdy, driving license. Prawo jazdy, the right to drive. Prawo jazdy. But of course it's driving license. So uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy means to obtain an international driving license. And it's a very important step to do, because if you don't, you will not be able to rent a car and just drive around Poland, which is a very nice thing to do. For example, you can say, aby prowadzić samochód w innych krajach, musisz uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy. Aby prowadzić samochód w innych krajach, musisz uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy. Oh, that was long, but it literally means, or actually it means, aby prowadzić samochód w innych krajach, należy uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy. Aby prowadzić samochód w innych krajach, należy uzyskać międzynarodowe prawo jazdy. To drive in another country, you need to obtain an international driving license. Odnowić paszport. Odnowić paszport. To renew your passport. Okay, this is something really not to forget, and that's odnowić paszport. Odnowić means to renew, and paszport is passport. And please, please, please don't forget that, because I personally once did forget, or actually my boyfriend did. So we were almost going to Philippines, and I was like almost going to Philippines. We were at the airport, and they were checking our passports, and they are looking at his passport, and it says only 3 more months valid, and to go to Philippines you need 6 months, which was basically like, well, you lady can go, but he can't, and I was so furious. So please don't forget to do that. That's like the stupidest thing you can do. So one thing you can say is, muszę sobie odnowić paszport. I need to renew my passport. Muszę sobie odnowić paszport. Spakować się. Spakować się. To pack. Now, when you are almost going, you've got your ticket, you've got your passport, you've got your accommodations. Another thing you can do, or you have to do, is spakować się. Spakować się as a reflexive verb, and it means to pack yourself. Well, actually, it literally means to pack yourself, so we can say to pack as well. And for example, in a sentence, you can use it like this. Spakowałeś się już? Have you already packed? Spakowałeś się już? Thank you for watching. This was Top Polish Words, and today we learned Top 10 ways to prepare your travel. So please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Go to polishpod101.com for more videos like this, and please let us know in comments what are your ways to prepare to travel. Thank you again and see you next time!
You've studied for a while and are ready to talk to people and practice what you've learned. But where do you start? Starting a conversation in a new language can seem a bit intimidating. How do you just jump into it? In this video, we'll look at 5 ways to start conversations. Number 1. Introduce yourself in your target language. This is usually one of the first things you learn when you start studying a new language. And sometimes, starting a conversation, or continuing one, is as simple as introducing yourself. Number 2. Talking about the weather. This is a universal talking point. People talk about the weather all over the world. And just saying, "It's really nice today," is enough to start a conversation. A great way to practice your weather conversation skills is to check out our Can-Do lesson pathway. This series of lessons teaches you how to talk about the weather in your target language. Number 3. Give compliments. Compliments are a great way to start a conversation. You can compliment something about your conversation partner's city, country, or something specific to them personally. "Hey, your bag is super cute," or "That ice cream looks delicious." These kinds of compliments can lead to further conversation about what you complimented. In this case, it could be fashion or a local restaurant. This is a great way to make quick connections with people. Number 4. Ask for help. For example, you can ask for directions, ask about prices, or request recommendations for restaurants or shopping spots, and let the conversation go from there. People are usually happy to lend a helping hand to tourists who are visiting their city. Number 5. Learn phrases for transactions. This can include getting a room at a hotel or telling a taxi driver where to go. When you're traveling overseas, you'll need to talk to other people in your target language. And while this might be a bit scary at first, you'll find that the people you meet are just happy that you're trying to communicate with them. So get started talking in your target language now. For even more tips on how to start conversations, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.